A lot is shifting in the air. For me in particular, it's very, very potent. And so I've been pretty quiet, different from the videos I've been putting up, say like from the green robe to the red one. um, so I'm just talking about those certain kind of ambiances, and thank you for hanging in there through all of these times. Wanted to do more astrology. There's a lot coming with the eclipse, which I just realized that there's the Mars conjunct Saturn, which is a very, there's a lot of people talking negative, and I tried to say this before about the eclipse, and and really because it's the sun in Aries being eclipsed by what? Well, it's the moon in Aries. It's kind of sensitive when we look at the moon. You want to look at the moon. We have it's conjunct the sun, and it's the planet of feelings. It's in Aries. Now, this is something that's not known, and I didn't talk about it in my last video, but I maybe try to talk about it once before some other time. But Aries, it rules the head, okay? So the head is it's where it has a lot of nerves, to tell you the truth, right? It gets pretty sensitive all up in there, um, believe it or not, even though the brain is mainly numb, but we have sensory organs there all over the place, and so we are, believe it or not, very, very sensitive people. And um, out of all, we kind of exhibit the good traits of our opposite, which is Libra, which is the peacekeepers, which, believe it or not, we kind of stand as the first responders to things that perhaps maybe it's better to keep peace, but they have to respond, right? It's not, you don't let somebody else disturb your peace, kind of a thing, It's just like, wait a minute, it's a counteraction, and that's what's also the capability of the Libra. That's what we're pointing at. Is this the two oppose each other. They kind of complement, and they begin to become one another. One another. It's one of the most interesting oppositions because it does. Libra rules the very um, phenomena of weighing all that out and being aware of the polar opposites, which typically with the Mars and Venus, we're looking at man and woman, and that's what Aries and Libra is Libra being the Venus and Mars being Aries. So it's in the air. See, I say, just I don't really deal with them much, not society or anything. I mean, I have my personal life and I have a love life, and I'm grateful. And we're all trying to work. That is a very personal thing. The love that we are and accumulate, say, the relationships we're able to carry, which is very illusory because it's about our self-love, you know what I mean? And what can we give ourselves through other people, maybe? It's kind of interesting. But and let's get back to the man-woman thing. Um, big shake of the head because there needs to be some kind of, that's what we're kind of talking about, like reform. And it's like, reform to what? Because that's what's kind of going on out there. It's looking like chaos, and something needs to change. And change what? I mean, are you keeping the water clean and the food healthy? No. Well, where are men and women? Where are we at? And there is being a push around, right? It's always just, we're going to make an amusement park out of an entire island or something, like what happened to Hawaii. And it's a big, of course, with that, because that's like the last one. Whatever happened with the so-called Pearl Harbor, just somebody was pissed because their land was taken and you could not take it back, and then it's just a big hush hush, and then watch it completely convert through even more landscaping, I guess you can call it. I was really trying to talk about, that's like that's what war is all about, is not only depopulation but changing the people, right? The landscape and the whole culture. The It's a gruesome thing because it's an overlay, right? It could be, and anything goes. Let's just try it. How much money do you have, and let's try it. And if it doesn't work, and especially if the people are, um, I don't know, just the people. As far as people, they are the guinea pigs. They are the ones that are going to try out the massive apartment that houses 2,000 and some odd people for one city, and then the train that comes into their living room and drops their children off from school and whatever that is, And wow, is it happening somewhere? Perhaps yes. It's a great plan that they have. Sorry, we have Mars and Pisces, you guys. I'm a Mars ruled person. Aries. There's a lot of Aries in the air. That's what's Mars ruled. The Sun, Mercury just gone retrograde, and it's kind of doing this funky dance. If I can just find my ephemeris, pardon me, while I go and find it first. How do you like my new chair? But anyway, yeah, I looking at this that snuck up how that Mars is conjunct Saturn, and so that's good, and how that eclipse of the sun. It's really a time for radical realization of peace, and the people that like to do it the most, believe this or not, Aries is all about it. They just really all just they just want to have fun. And even if it's looking like a hard time, like they'll set up a boxing ring and start, let's do this, and do something like that. I mean, make sure it's a conscious fight we're having, because they'll be doing that and just get it out of you. Other arenas too that will just get it out of you that I doubt that it's not fun. It is fun. Back to when yeah, the eclipse is harboring this. It's Mars ruled, and then we have Mercury that's under Mars rulership, and then shortly here before the eclipse, because the eclipse is on the 8th, which I think it's one of the biggest times to be realized as peace, of peace, with peace, which is reality. That's what Aries says is the I am. And there is all kinds of shit in the air that is saying to the contrary, and you better stock up on food and be careful. And they could do some things, whoever they are, that do you have an H bomb? I doubt if my neighbors have an H bomb, so it's not us. If it's something drastic happens and like a big whoops, it's like, oh, come on. Because we aren't really into that. We're into having a great time here, you know. But then now we have to go to war about something and really, really worry about, well, how do we maintain a great time? That's pretty much it. That's why you want to be with the Aries right now. It's like, if you haven't noticed, they're really trying to invade our privacy, right, and our rights, and they have fully. It's just about it's just about impossible to live on this planet. Everybody, it's like right now it's in between. It's an in between diamond, and a lot of people don't know that it's like you are. How's the best way to say this? It's like you are the very power to reality. You are the stars of the show. There isn't anybody that we're waiting for to change this scene for us, but ourselves to wake up and begin to live as the example in case other people were watching or life depended on it, like we were going to learn how to live here. Something might push us into that kind of thing, and it doesn't look good for, like, say, the rubber band snap crew, who I think is okay. You want to talk about our opposite, which is Libra. It's good to pick on a Libra instead of just go over to the Taurus, who's like, hey, wait a minute, I was just following you. It's Aries, Taurus, which is like saying Venus. I mean, Mars, fire, Venus, Earth. And this is like the evolution of human consciousness, really just like creation of creation, like through human awareness. Say, if we were to try and symbolically gesture towards it and point at it, that's what astrology does. It's saying fire is man, and woman, Venus, is earth, and the mind, Gemini, is air, and your feelings, like your emotionality and your feelings, your entire body kind of like is like even your heart would be that, right? Is Cancer. You want to be careful of that. You don't want to skip over your feelings because you will get cancer. So we went through 4 there, and then it resets into another fire sign, which is in a more advanced, like just, hey, Aries, what's up? Leo's like, we're on stage. It's like, I know, I am, right? And then so now the organism is either at American Idol trying to make a bowl of beans work for them, or they're on the side of a mountain climbing, doing hang gliding, or whatever the Aries possibly does. Is really the pioneer of many, many different things, especially spiritual awakening, and that's where we're at, right here, right now. Um, Welcome to now. Talk about a tightrope walk. I'm tired of being around people that don't realize that that's kind of what it is, and you don't just up and jump and start poisoning things, because even though it's a temporary thing, it's forever. It's like a forever thing. It's like, wow, is that what you really wanted to do forever? Is just to walk on top of some asphalt? I'm sorry, I keep going on that, but I used to live in a beautiful area, but it just seems, when you got to realize what I've looked at, um, not just in the past 3 and 4 years, but what happened in just a year and a half, hardly a year. It just keeps compounding, and it's like, oh God, okay, adjust. But really, I think I've done just fine in trying to get people to wake up a little bit, just kind of slapping them, and it risks me looking bad. What I mean, in a form of saying, what are you doing? Excuse me? There's other people here, and they don't care that I was here. They don't care about anybody's possibly suffering because they don't see that they are there. They don't see what they are doing. It's like, come on, 5 people simultaneously spilling, sorry, going on and on about it, spilling the asphalt around needs investigating, but they all want protection, and they do get it. The building inspectors won't even help us out, and it's good that I make these kinds of videos and maybe clip these kinds of parts and put them up on my Facebook page, so everybody sees that I have a YouTube, and then everybody sees that I talk about this every once in a while, and then all of a sudden now I'm being spied on by these fucking cretins. And it's like, do you know how to side up with the good stuff, and maybe support something? What do you guys stand for? Huh? God. Fuck. Fucking assholes. How about you, Jesus? Did you notice the assholes standing for the fucking greatest thing in the world? Yes? Oh yeah, they really stood up for me. That's why I was shish kebabbed. Oh really? Yeah, come with me. Shish kebab you too. Fuck the world. We're trying. No, we don't try. We just be who we are, and guess what? It's like, oh, really? We can't even get our 2 cents in edgewise. Not saying that, like, as a narcissist, we've got to run the place, and it's all about our righteous spirituality. No, if you know, want to do something, whether it's journalism, whatever field of information that you want to do, but really, do you want to max it out? Do you want to do plumbing right? You'll figure out that there's an organization that makes sure that we're not doing plumbing right. Find the righteous material to use now. Do you know how to make a pipe that's not gonna just bust open on you like it's a piece of plastic? And we used to make it to where what happened to copper piping? The stuff that that worked, anyway. And point being, like, yeah, if you want to be um, an electrician or a pizza maker, whatever, you're going to find it's like, wait a minute, why is the dough make like that? And that's known to the state of California to or the FDA to be FDA approved that it's cancerous, man. It's like you don't have an original idea, right? You don't look at that any further. You just want to make a pizza, stencil it up. Don't be original. Fine, not fine. I remember the pizza parlor in the city that was boasting being an authentic Italian pizza, and just even that has changed. It's just changed, and it's like, okay, it's not exactly the same, but something about the tomatoes, perhaps. And anyway, thanks for listening. God, wanted to make a less intense, emotionally intense video, which is possible for me now. Having gone through, see, Jupiter, it's going to be, I tried to tell people it's going to be like, wow, it's squaring my moon. And the moon in Aquarius is a weirdo anyway. I'm kind of, it's that we can be temperamental just because what? Well, our batteries ran low. We're just like Spock. It's like, well, what's wrong? Wash the screen a little bit and let it sleep. Put it in the closet. Sorry. Because otherwise we're just 35 years ahead of time and trying to operate like that too. We're like, well, why don't you understand and have a conversation about our chintzy, weird relationship? Can we expand on the subject matter and analyze our emotions at the same time? That's Moon Aquarius. We're 35 years ahead of our time emotionally, and so then we got then we go over here and look at some astrology and say, yes, yes, we did have Jupiter right on our moon. Are we over it yet? Because we are in April now, and that Jupiter is moving quick. By the time it's at the end of the month, it's this epic Jupiter, the big fat Jupiter expands whatever it hits. So it's in Taurus, and then so that's an issue of our wealth, our value system, and what we value in each other. Really, it gets deeper than money. It's about our heart issues, because that's what Taurus rules Venus, heart. It's really the feminine. Like, we're really. I was thinking today, it's like, do you realize that there's just something missing from a lot of our value system? If we were to say that there was something that we should value, if it was connected to energy, money, it's just energy, Shauna. Okay, binary, robot. What quality energy are you talking about? What energy do you even know of? I say it's all human energy. So how are we fooling ourselves here, really? I mean, are you really gonna fool yourselves? I mean, it's all human energy. It's human energy. Where are you putting your money on? Is it really human energy? Because the human energy, really, I've been talking about it now. Human love. That's what human is. Human beings are achieved in love as love. They're the same. They're the fucking same. How do you like that? How do you like that? Words are just keeping everything just like, here, let's just really get really. And still, what is it? It's a presence. It's an awareness. It's a presence. You just have to dare have an experience with this presence every once in a while. It could be you, your capability in the moment. Boy, take a deep breath, deep divers. There isn't anything like it. I had no idea. But this is what really came up with me over the last 4 years, but it was like 2 years ago, 2.5 or 3, while we were trying to figure out, should we breathe or not breathe, and I was like, to tell you the truth, God, there is a way to breathe that will give you superpowers. And I'm not even talking about as a super ignorant Aries rising that says, when before cocking back and socking somebody in the face, try breathing a little bit. Nah, I happened to think, and I decided that today. I was like, God, that's what's really wrong with the world, is that you just can't just take it outside and start saying, fucking really? And beat somebody up and say, who's right now? Sorry, I don't like that idea either. I don't know where I'm getting that. And that needs to leave. I pray to God and help me now. Pray for me at minute 20. Don't let a narcissist see this because they hold these moments against us when we get vulnerable and we say, God, there might be a flaw that we have. Am I a little bit too harsh? Did I get more than aggressive on that subject matter? Did you get beat up just because I said the word beat up? Well, I think that you should be beat up. Really, so you can find out the difference. Sorry. We're having a problem with that. It's called schizophrenia, really. It's like just say the word fire or the word water, and people think that they're getting burned or that they're drowning or they're wet. Turn off your TV. That's the complaint about what's happening with this new moon thing. I mean, the eclipse, solar eclipse, new moon, what that is. It's time to become realized. Becoming realized means this. God, just take that deep breath. Ria, breath. The word Ria is in there. God. Reality is peace. Aries is not going to be fighting. Somebody else is projecting this shit on us. Somebody else is shaking us up and keeping us fighting. We're always trying to respond and find out what is it, and then they pick on us. It's called reaction abuse, reactive abuse. The first responder, the one who says, "Hey, you know what?" And they just don't know how to deal with it, right? They're more like, "Let's fucking just pound your fucking head." And they go, "What are you doing?" Well, in some cases, in extreme cases, the law enforcement lets them go because they hear the story. It's like, oh, that person admitted to have been a serial murderer and had just got done, and they were just doing it just there, and you stopped them. And the reason why they're not breathing now is because you did your job as just a good Samaritan. Have a nice day, sir, and do you need some new clothing? What do you need? That's what has happened before with some cases where it's just a divine instinct. It's most pure. Imagine if that was alive and well today and just operating and say, "Hey, excuse me," with the little things like, why are you putting poisons all over why is, like, you see those trailers up there, it's like, let's get it. What, like you have a drone coming over that could threaten your lifestyle or something just by, I don't know, yeah, before they start implementing laws, just cut it off at the pass with some kind of, like, if they're walking, dig a ditch, then put a blanket over it and let them fall in, and then send an alligator in, and then because I doubt it's not happening on some other level. Somebody else is taking care of something, making sure that what they get their history told in favor of who, how, when, where. What is it, Shauna? It's 23 minutes. Are you going to wrap it up? Well, yes. I'm just here letting you know how that Mars is going to be. It's actually calm with it conjunct Saturn. These people, okay, now, it's a very wartime-ish signification. If you see Mars conjunct Saturn, a lot of war generals and planners of wars, like generals and high-ranking individuals in the military, have the Mars conjunct Saturn. Um, Mars rules wars, and Saturn rules the wise people and the elders and the structures that are kept to keep um, knowledge and the wisdom going in the structures of structures, and um, it's sneaky in the 12th house. It's sneaky if it's Mars and Pisces in the in it's so it's hard to say. It's like, well, is war brewing? Is there going to be some kind of disruption on the people? And the answer is, babes, always. You are in a war zone. If you have forgotten this, now A war zone. I wish I can just tell you what that word is. It's aware zone. It's an aware zone. You need to become aware. If you have lost awareness, most likely you have some succumb to the enemy, because the mind is the enemy, and the mind cannot be awareness. It can't. This is the truth that the Buddhists have known for 8,000 or more years. As long as we can try and look at it as an organism and say, uh-oh, we have an illusion maker. It gets pretty bad. Like I said, you can say a word to some people. Like, you can say egg fart, diarrhea egg farts, and they'll begin to smell a diarrhea egg fart. And it's because they are um, in full association and identification with their minds and a memory that they may have had of an experience, right? And it's not in reality, and it's not the truth in reality happening now. It was the truth in reality, but it's not now. So they're greatly confused only because they went into the mind. The mind, they are a fully encapsulated mind. Now, what I'm talking about, it's very real. I'm treading ground fresh with you. It's called hypnosis. You can see it. Some people now are more susceptible to hypnosis than others. I remember, see, because my dad is a hypnotherapist. He was. That's what he did for uh, money. He was a hypnotherapist. He helped a lot of people. Um, he studied 9 years more of psychology, and he was a probation officer, and he was a counselor in a reform school for boys, and he was a hypnotherapist. See, he tried to hypnotize me, but because he was my dad and I loved him, and I actually feel sorry for him because he, later on in his life, I mean, he wasn't all of that I had just mentioned. He was just somebody that I mean, it's like, this guy, I mean, for me, my point of view, who he was is somebody who, when I remember the job he had as far as money, trying to make money, he was opening up a office full of isolation tanks. Why are we talking about our dads might be doing this? Because Venus is conjunct Neptune, and they never talk about this in astrology in the modern day, but Neptune actually points at your dad, particularly the archive of your dad's spirituality, like his spirituality, the father. The father, that's what Neptune rules, and lo and behold, what we hear about it mainly is the father, but there is the mother. But see, even though the sun is the main thing we look at as the father relationship with the moon, it's how you tell how was the person's mother and father getting along. Just look at the sun and the moon. But no, there's a deeper way to look too, as to the father's spirituality, right? And I assume that the mother's spirituality would be seen in the moon, and probably Neptune also, because it just rules basically spirituality. And so getting back to this influence that's going on in the sky right now, we also, because it's in a Neptunian influence, we're bound to hit high spirituality, whether there's a war that tries to stop it or not. It doesn't matter. What's bound to happen is some people know, they just know. It's like, nope, there it is. They have just ruined another great opportunity. We were supposed to become realized, but they managed to take it into a place of darkness, spiraling into just the opposite of becoming realized, which is to become disenfranchised of what are we supposed to find out, and not only as an individually, but this can be had and done collectively, and it is. It's going to be done, like I said, no matter they try to starve us out or bury us like seeds or whatever, deep divers. It's going to be born with just the light of the sun being put in the darkness, and that just is just the true nature of our lives, which is that awareness beyond mind. And to get it's much more deep. See, I'm looking at something as how we speak, how we um, uh, transfer what we now defend and or want to work for, also um, celebrate. We celebrate it through words, and we have to get our language together, better language. And there are people that have been doing that. That I believe that there could be one person in all fields that needs to be put together like a puzzle. Different pieces need to be put together, just a more refined thing. I saw something here. Thank you for listening to this. It's just me talking, apologizing for the emotionality that it comes up. In the prior videos, the ones particularly where I'm wearing the green, the green robe is just, there's a lot influencing. I keep looking out there because there's a beautiful window open. I try to get into just Mother Nature more. They call it Mother Nature, but it's Virgin Nature. I wish I could see the language needs to be changed. The language needs to be changed. You don't give anything of the universe to a mother or a father. If anything, you give it to the Virgin. Because if it's anything of nature from a natural development out there that we call natural, and it could be even, but anyway, we're talking about the very nature of something, which is it's original. It means original, virgin, Virgin, right? Virgin. I notice this thing slurs, but all it means is just original source, what's operating there originally. So really you can have virgin plastic and stuff like that. It's like, well, what is originally happening there before it's being tainted with some other ideal or whatever, but it's not virgin nature. We have to start calling it virgin earth, virgin nature, and take the human. See what when you see it written down, Mother Earth and Mother Nature, the M is capitalized for a reason. It's because it's not talking about a human. But we need to get our perceptions far away from it, so that narcissists, people that probably had a terrible experience of their mothers, will be able to hear the information when we start talking about it. We have to get back to virgin nature. We have to keep Earth virgin. Go back to virgin. What does that mean? Well, they talk about it too. They say, well, the virgin, but they say mother. The mother, it just is self-cleaning. Just leave it alone and it takes care of us. Just a little bit of helping it along and it expands into its virgin nature. Be with it. Be with it. You don't have to believe it and lose all contact with, well, how do you make mulch? How do we continue with a harmonious ecosystem so that, yes, some plants are getting rid of weeds, and there's all kinds of, you can have a balanced ecosystem, microclimatized. It doesn't have to be the earth, the entire earth, and stop calling it, please. Let's start this year. I'm somebody who starts trends. But I've been locked systematically. It's just a systematic thing. The ones that are capable of really influencing and making a difference, because you want to be cool, right? You want to seem like you're on the ball and you're able to make people think. You're an influencer. You have made a difference. People are inspired the next day. Well, adopt this now. Virgin Earth, virgin nature. And understand what you're saying. It's nothing pertaining to a human being. Although a human being is capable of being virgin, because why? They're just a primal version of them. I said version, 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 see, that is virgin. Who? Now let's just talk about what is a woman, what is a man. Who are these people? What do they do originally? Whew, we really don't know. We really don't know. We see them standing naked all the time, stripped of every fucking bit of their fucking what possibly they have put together. We see remnants of shit out there going, well, how did that happen? We don't know. We suspect that there was other life form and they flew away in a spaceship then. And I say, thanks for listening to this, it could be that one spectrum is missing. I mean, we talk about mankind a lot, let's talk about men, not mankind. I love men, but what I'm talking about is, do you notice the lopsidedness? Babe, I'm not. a biased person. This is the thing. It's like, oh God, not this, because it was a long time ago that I've noticed something. I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm not even gonna play this game. I'm not saying that I'm not capable of being what I am, which is a woman. That's why. Really, what I'm saying is I would like to be more the real version of what I can be, which I don't think it's too caught up in idealized versions of anything. Really, it's more like, well, what's really happening here? What is necessary to this fucking situation? Is it even humane? What's going on, now? How could I contribute? Or, what kind of effect is, I mean, that's more humane than just saying man and woman. It's just saying I'm capable of being purely aware, and yes, no, I am not ignoring that there are men and women here. I was just waiting to see what they're capable of. That's all. And then if I wanted to dip into that, I would. But I am not impressed so far. Not as being purely aware, pure awareness. Saying, "Uh-oh," is just looking at it, saying, well, looking at both sides. It's like, well, how is that fair? How is that not fair? You know, it's okay to do the minimal, I guess, but there is a full on. There's a full potential that I think some people just have a natural knack to hold out for the best, right? Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and you've always heard be patient, and then um, don't be hasty. It comes with all that. It's like it's the process, ultimately the process of life, and then we can get into the what we're always talking about when we talk about narcissism and the poor programming, and it's hard to tell who's who, but people are being affected by it and turned into spam. Like I said, your IQ is just going down because you're surrounded by these people who are, um, they've suffered enough abuse that, I was just going general, is that their programming is glitched out. They haven't accessed themselves in such a way that feels good, say, to allow to even feel anything is a good question, and that's a delicacy that just it's a hand me down. What I was trying to further say is how that it's a literal, like, here, this is what I have for you, kid, and I'm giving you this gift, and it's not done consciously. And that's the thing, is to bring it into consciousness. Some people will, in extreme cases of, like, say, when people hit their kids, they won't. They know that their dad did it to them, and their dad's dad, or their mom's mom did it to them, and they find themselves like just about blacking out, and it's the moment where they can just not hand it down, and they just collapse and start crying or something, and the child is like looking and doesn't go through it. But that's a rare scene. But no, that's real. That's a real scenario where we don't hand it down to the kid, that now they have to try to not do these things and not absorb things in a certain way. And it's possible. That's precisely what we're here, to perfect, really, just get more and more conscious. And in the meantime, with all of that, babes, like, where is it coming from? All of the frustration and having these ideals that will back us into these corners of ego, facing ego, where one is not righteous and the other one is just innocent. And, well, we have an influence happening. And getting back to this eclipse thing, it's not the eclipse. The eclipse is trying to tell us, you know what, this is it. You guys need to take each other's hand and say, man, right now is fine. It feels so good, so vibrant. They're so afraid. Satan hates for you to know your real life is now. It scares the hell. In the daytime, I don't think that you'll experience a lot because there's enough. running around at people that they're on this mission. There's a goal, there's a future, especially the university is doing the future thing, and then somebody is doing the past, right? Who's ever doing the so-called rehab of people. Here, just get a job, let's maintain this shit. It's all driven by money, but the bottom line is that the frequency is asleep. It's completely running away from the work that it takes to just come home. Come home into your body, come home into your breath. For us who have achieved this kind of thing and who think, you know what, all we have to do is just sell out and start walking. Go, there's a meeting somewhere on the planet, people know where they're doing, so I would rather go to ashram, I would rather, that's just an energetic phenomenon. I thought I was going to do it here, and what I need to be is more patient. I'm an Aries rising, and there's this thing in the air that, once we get it, and once we get it on a level that is, it's like, okay, so we have a little bit more patience. Do you get it now? No, there's going to be a disruption. They disrupt on a scale that is global. They do it through their mass harnessing of the perception uh, projection system called the TV set. Electricity, you're electrified. Um, Adult babysitting service via, I mean, did you get your education and did you pay your taxes and get that going for yourselves? People happily building their imprisonment, and the circus activities that keep us pacified away from knowing that we are the stars, and there are stars really, but really what we're talking about is, when are we going to wake up and take our lives in our own hands? It's hell of a thing to say, huh, Jesus? Yeah, I took my life in my own hands. That's the story. I just took my life inside in my own hands. I took my life with my own hands. And with my own hands, I just took my life with it.